Good afternoon. This is Dave Jones with StormCenter Communications and GeoCollaborate. It is just past noontime here on the East Coast, about 12:02, and we have an update on Tropical Storm Debby. It was a hurricane when it made landfall this morning at 7 a.m. Near Steinhatchee, Florida, bringing storm surges of 6 to 8, perhaps even 9 feet. Post-analysis will determine how high the storm surge actually got. It's still happening because the circulation of the storm is still pushing the winds onshore in the Big Bend area of Florida, all the way down to Tampa and even down towards Naples. The circulation around this storm is rather large. Also, the circulation is starting to increase coming ashore in Georgia and South Carolina. I'll show you that in just a second, but we certainly do have the circulation of Debby here over the Panhandle, Big Bend area of Florida. The thing you'll notice here is it is not moving very quickly. It's moving very slowly and will continue to move slowly, which is going to cause the prolific rainfall threat that exists in the southeastern part of the U.S. I want to show you also the satellite loop here full. You'll notice that the winds are streaming the clouds just over Norfolk and off the coast. This is going to be the area of concern from Georgia and Florida all the way up the East Coast into North Carolina and eventually into Virginia and Maryland. As a matter of fact, we've had rainfall totals reported already in Florida over a 2-day period. Lakewood Ranch, more than 16 inches of rain. That is east of Bradenton and just a little northeast of Sarasota, and all the way to Sarasota, 12 inches, Ocala, 7 inches. So we have active flood warnings going on right now. And I did want to show you the radar data. This is updated in real time. Just wanted to point this out in areas around Venice. This is Venice down here, and Laurel in Florida. Look at this strip of rain. This is rain that is about 16 to 20 inches of rain that has fallen. This area is under a flash flood warning, a flood warning. You can see South Bradenton and Bradenton. Those areas here receiving rainfall of 10 to 12 inches. But this strip right in here, look at this rainfall total. That is in the white, 20.08 inches of rain just to the east of Bradenton. So there's quite a bit of flooding going on there. Now, I want to show you GeoCollaborate because this is where I want to spend most of the time here talking about the upcoming threats. We are in forecast mode here, and GeoCollaborate is showing the area of highest rainfall threat during the day today. You can see this area in red. This is the area of the highest rainfall threat where anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of rain could fall. The radar is superimposed sort of in the background here because the rain is extremely heavy now into southeastern Georgia and coming ashore just south of Charleston, South Carolina. That's all moving slowly to the north. But what I wanted to point out here is this is the rainfall threat for day one, which is today. And I wanted to show you how it is going to be progressing up the coast. So this is the day one rainfall, which is going to be causing flooding. And then I want to go to the excessive rainfall during day two. You can see this rainfall heading up the coast, but remaining from about Columbia, South Carolina, south and east, but extending also back into Georgia and northeast Florida. So this is a rainfall threat for day one, and day two overlaps that. So you can see what's going on, and then extends up into eastern South Carolina. If I turn off the excessive rainfall for day two and display day three, look at that. Basically in the same spot where excessive rainfall is expected in the Carolinas. This is going to cause prolific flooding. Some of the rainfall totals that we had in 2015 during Hurricane Joaquin. Let me just show you those just for a couple of seconds here. This is when locally 20 inches of rain, 15 to 20 inches of rain fell from Columbia to the coastline. Wasn't exactly caused solely by Hurricane Joaquin. Joaquin was a moisture feed into a trough of low pressure before Joaquin actually made landfall, and this is what resulted. And this is the forecast through GeoCollaborate from the National Weather Service. So you can see what's going on here. Excessive rainfall all the way down into the state of Florida. So the biggest advice I want to give for the sensitive information sharing environment and the Fleet Response Working Group is that if you are staging any vehicles for response into areas of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Florida, make sure you are well aware of the low-lying areas where you may be staging, because small trickles and streams could become raging rivers after receiving 2 to 3, perhaps even 4 inches in an hour or two, which is likely to happen along the coastline here where Debby is going to be moving. And so it looks like the biggest threat from rainfall is evacuations that will likely happen, and swift water rescues. We've seen them already, high water rescues in Florida and in southern Georgia, and this is going to move on up the coast. Also, rivers and tributaries, as I said, could turn rapidly into swift moving water, and you do not want to park any trucks or vehicles waiting to be called in any low-lying areas. This is actually going to be a flood of historic proportions in parts of South Carolina and Georgia, and it is likely that you're unaware of how much flooding could occur. So when you stage your vehicles, make sure you stage them in higher ground. Higher ground. Make sure you look at your maps and take a look at that closely. Also, flooding control systems may be overwhelmed, will be overwhelmed with the excessive rainfall that Debby is dropping. And floodwaters can enter many, many structures, and when they do, they could weaken those structures. So what it looks like now is that Debby is going to be spinning right here in the southeast part of the country. It is going to move over Florida, over Georgia, and perhaps back out over the ocean where it will maintain its moisture feed. It could strengthen somewhat. Initial forecasts are it will not strengthen that much, but it really doesn't matter. It's all about the moisture content and the intense rainfall that is going to happen. And even further up the week, this is Monday, so if we're talking into Thursday and Friday, Virginia and Maryland and Delaware and southern New Jersey also run the risk of some flood conditions, extreme rainfall, intense rainfall based on the path that Debby goes. We'll certainly keep you posted over the course of the next several days. This has been a Fleet Response Working Group Sensitive Information Sharing Environment update, where we share data and information with states and the private sector liaisons there so they can share more information with their private sector partners. All to help fleet utility vehicles get into the area to restore power as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, with the extent of the flooding that is anticipated, power may be out for longer periods than usual after a tropical storm moves through. The slow movement of Tropical Storm Debby is going to result in a huge impact with widespread historic flooding in Georgia, South Carolina, and southeastern North Carolina. We'll keep you posted. I'm Dave Jones with GeoCollaborate. This has been a sensitive information sharing environment update. Thanks for watching.